All right, so we're not in the upside down, even though there's all these little fuzzy looking things around here. I don't have a Demogorgon, and if I did have a Demogorgon, I'm saying that right? Demogorgon, if I did have a Demogorgon, I would be out of here faster than you can say Gemstone. No, the fuzzy stuff's not coming from me, it's coming from the walls in here. All right, let's unbox something and not talk about Stranger Things. I'm gonna look at the card. Beryl! Ooh, I'm excited. And so Beryl, when I think of Beryl, I think of emerald, which you all know I love. I think of aquamarine. I think of morganite and heliodor and bixbyite. So basically when I think of Beryl, I think of a lot of different colors. I think of Brazil, which you all know I love because I lived there for a while. There's a lot of beryl in Brazil. I worked with a ton of emerald and aqua, a lot of green beryl, a lot of morganite down there. Miss the football games and the food. And the Beryl, but I don't have to miss the Beryl today because I'm here with Beryl. So let's jump in. Best case scenario, emerald, emerald, emerald. All day, all night, emeralds. Jewelry and a specimen. And then I can put the jewelry on while I look at the specimen. Let's talk about first and last names. Name someone famous.
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Clooney is George Clooney's last name. Beryl is basically like the last name for the Beryl family. So you can have aquamarine, which is Beryl, emerald, which is Beryl, morganite, which is Beryl. I think that's like an interesting way to, talk about the naming, I guess like the system that we use to name gemstones and species and families and all that jazz, right? Holla! I think I was not right. That's okay. So, this is really cool. So we talked about beryl and I talked about the different color. As you can see, this is a green beryl and you can tell that by kind of the lighter green color. This crystal structure looks like a beryl. You can usually see internal characteristics. So I can see some in here. We can see like those conchoidal fractures right there, typical beryl. It's really neat, isn't it? You like it? Because I do. Hopefully, if we were in the upside down, I would be able to have this on my desk. But we're not, so it's just gonna stay on the white table today. Can I get rid of this? Nice throw. I'm guessing that because this is green beryl, this is either gonna be aquamarine, morganite, or emerald, maybe heliodor or bixbyite. Maybe we're gonna stick with like a spring theme and we're gonna do aquamarine or morganite in this box. No, I'm not gonna shake anything. I'm not gonna shake it.
So tell me.
It is kind of heavy. No, it's not heavy, it's very light. So I don't think it's a specimen, I think it's a stone. And I think it's gonna be aquamarine. I think it's gonna be like a really bright blue. If it's aquamarine, it could be a little bit clearer of a material, less internal characteristics or inclusions. I don't think it's emerald because we kind of have like green beryl here and we have one green, so I'm hoping like blue or pink. Oh, okay, I was wrong, but that's okay because I got a big old surprise. Literally a big surprise. So smooth. To me, this looks like green beryl because it's a little less of a saturation. It said this is from Madagascar. 48 carats? NAT, is that Natalie or natural?
It means it's for you.
Oh, look it says NAT on the back. I think that must be mine. It doesn't say whether it's green beryl or emerald. So let's just stop for a second and clarify green beryl versus emerald. That's gonna be with like the saturation and how much color. We've talked about, tones in gemology and grading stones. So to me, this is a lighter green. It's not, super saturated, it's not dark. This to me, because it's a little bit lighter, looks like a green beryl. I'm excited as a gemologist when I see green beryl because I think the color, it's nice and bright and fresh. This makes me feel happy and I love this stone. I would probably not put something this big in a ring, but definitely a pendant. There's tons that you can do with green beryl, but what's really cool today on the show is that we have a specimen and we have a stone. So you can kind of see like the before and the after of the cutting process. I hope you can appreciate how tough it is to get to this point. When I look at the facets, it's a symmetrical stone. The facets, they meet. They're not like meeting at odd points, they're meeting at a point, which is a sign of good cutting. So someone had to go look for this piece of green beryl. And I'm gonna tell you folks, I've been in an aquamarine mine before. It was so hard. I literally had to pick and I'm like swinging that thing over my arm into the side of the mine looking for aquamarine. I think I did it like 4 times and gave up. It is so much work for some of these people to mine these stones. Not only can they find this, but then they are able to find the part of the stone that has the clarity and the good coloring and the solid coloring like this. Whenever I see a piece of rough and cut, I'm always amazed that A, Mother Nature gave us this, B, we are able to find it, and C, we're able to figure out how to cut it and maximize the rough.
Cut it in half.
I'm not cutting this thing in half. Are you?
Make a pair of earrings.
Are you insane? I'm not cutting this thing in half. This is beautiful. 48 carats of great material, green beryl. Beryl can be like green beryl like this. Emerald, think of a spring day with freshly cut grass and how vibrant and green that grass is. Emerald, you know that it's colored by chromium and vanadium. Iron is aquamarine, and manganese is, morganite is colored by manganese. And those 3 are the only ones I know off the top of my head because I've worked with those 3 the most. Heliodor, I think, is iron too. Man, I used to have these chemical compositions down pat. But then I started thinking about food. The reason these are in the beryl group is because the base chemical compound is beryllium. Anyone love Legos? I love Legos. Let's say that you're building a Lego house. The base of that Lego house, the base of anything, your foundation, is kind of like this chemical composition with beryllium. You add some flowers into your Lego house, or you add Lego people, or in your own house, you add wood floors. Those are kind of that's kind of the iron and the chromium and the vanadium that, it adds something different. That made no sense whatsoever. No?
I mean, I was following you.
Okay, so you all know that I love food and I love gemstones. Some days I love food more than gemstones. Most days I love gemstones more than food. It depends on what time of day it is and how hungry I am. Let's think you're baking a cake. So let's just start off basic cake recipe. That's kind of like what the beryllium, that chemical compound is, like the base chemical compound. And if you want a chocolate cake, you're gonna throw in some chocolate. If you want a raspberry cake, which sounds so good right now, you throw in some raspberry. That's kind of like what happens when you throw manganese into the cake batter, then it turns into a morganite cake. Or if you throw iron into the cake batter, then it turns into an aquamarine cake. Is this a cake? No, it's not a cake. Oh, yes, another box. All right, I was hoping for aquamarine, and we talked about the color of aquamarine. So check that baby out. Okay, so that's blue. There's maybe a slight touch of green. You can see some of the matrix here. What I love about this piece is you can see the crystal structure. You can see some internal characteristics. At the end of the day, when you look at this, you're not looking at the crystal structure or the internal characteristics. You are looking at how beautiful that coloring is. We've got 3 examples here of beryl. We've got a rough beryl, a rough green beryl, a cut green beryl, and then this is aquamarine. I knew that this was aquamarine because the dominant hue on this is blue. I mean, can you see that? You see how it's a very blue? Maybe there's a slight green. What do you guys think? Green beryl emerald debate is kind of like the pink sapphire ruby debate. So pink sapphire and ruby are the same family. It's the corundum family, but the only difference is that pink sapphire is more pink and ruby is red. There is kind of this variation, or maybe what's the word I'm looking for? Spectrum. Sorry, I was looking for the spectrum. Okay, so maybe there's a spectrum. You have pink sapphire, and you've got ruby. And then somewhere in there, someone has to decide, where is this more red? Where is this more pink? To me, that looks more blue. This looks like aquamarine. And I think without testing it, without looking to see if there's an iron presence or vanadium or chromium, that gets tough to determine. In gemology school, literally lesson number 1 in colored gems was don't side ID. Let me tell you, that took me a few weeks to learn. There we go. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't side ID unless you're on this show and your production team gives you a card. In that case, side ID all you want. But if you're at a trade show, if you're at a jewelry store, I always recommend testing. I always recommend asking questions. Using your critical thinking skills to kind of deduct, all right, this has this gravity, this has this RI. It's kind of like puzzle. I love puzzles. Maybe that's why I love gemology so much, because it's a puzzle. I'm doing a cat puzzle right now. Aquamarine can actually be heated by man. You can literally stick it in a type of oven and for however long and however many degrees, and then you pop it out and it's aquamarine. That can also happen in Mother Nature. So I think that's really cool. That's one of my favorite things about gemology. Not only can humans, modify these stones, but sometimes Mother Nature, she just knows how to do it herself. I could literally be mining and I could find this beautiful blue stone. And you know what? I was in a mine in Brazil once and there was aquamarine just like on the side of I was not allowed to chisel in that mine. All right, so the difference between aquamarine and green beryl is not just color, it's actually the number of electrons. When you heat green beryl with that iron, it actually loses an electron, and then you are left with aquamarine. Mother Nature can also heat it, which I think is really cool. So I think that's important to remember that you can have a similar color. Emeralds are gonna be obviously darker than this, but just because the color is similar doesn't mean the chemical composition is similar. And that was something in gemology school that always kind of blew my mind. I had so much fun learning about was the chemical composition of beryl, because there are so many little things that you can just add in, like you're baking a cake and then you get something really beautiful and amazing and awesome to learn about. These are two different stones. This is green beryl, this is aquamarine, but can you hold on, I'm gonna figure out a way to hold this to show you all. But you can see the similar angles right here and right here on those faces. So if you pull a bixbyite out, similar crystal structure. If you pull an emerald out of the ground, similar crystal structure in the rough. I want you to take a closer look at the green hue on this beautiful stone, and I wiped it off so you don't see my fingerprints. And I want you to take a closer look at this too and kind of compare the color. Does this look a little bit darker to you? To me, this has a little bit more green than this one. What do you think? It was actually really cool remembering talking to you today about green beryl and aquamarine. It brought some fond memories back from gemology school. So thanks for joining and thank you for watching. Hey, we're gonna learn way more about beryl in the future because it's one of my favorite families of stones, because of the time I spent in South America, and because, look at these colors. Don't you love them too? So hey, comment below and let me know what beryl you would like to learn about next in future unboxings, and I'll see what I can do to get that.